I don't want to wear this the whole time, but like, oh, okay. Talk.
I can't even see the screen.
Well,
I need to
this,
see myself.
bro, this is an audio test.
Oh. What's the paper for?
Listen, bro, I was like working. We can't have our phones where I work right now.
What?
So I was sitting here just writing shit down, and I was like, I was doing like point by point, and I created like video ideas on like another thing. I don't know what. Like I was just sitting there writing this shit in the factory like I'm Eminem. I was like, bro, I want some 8 Mile shit right now.
You didn't even do the intro.
Oh, fuck.
Welcome to the Outspoken Introverts podcast.
Okay, anyways, yeah, welcome.
Also, every time I'm on here, or every time we've done this, I've had more drip than you.
Bro, I'm a bum.
Now you got the Crocs.
Bro, these
The
like,
Crocs are heat. I won't even.
they're dirty as fuck right now though.
That's why you don't get white ones.
Are you dissing the color white? What's wrong with white, Tyler, huh?
Look at me. That's what's wrong with the color white.
Anyways, yeah, welcome back to the Outspoken Introverts fucking podcast or whatever. I'm Landen. It's my co-host Tyler.
I just did the intro. What do you mean?
I just had to do the second version of it.
Because it's better. Okay, I see.
Yeah. Bro, I'm so like my body hurts so fucking bad. Like I woke up and I had a headache, and then oh my god, bro, I had to drink some water. I was like, oh man, this feels great. All right, what are your questions for the podcast?
Well, this one's
Or
kind
topics.
of out of date, but Travis Scott.
Oh yeah.
What you think about that fiasco?
I don't know if I can fully blame him, but at the same time, he does hold some accountability.
That's fair.
I don't know. It's a hard one to judge, really.
I don't fully blame him, but I definitely blame him a little bit. Not like here, I'd blame both him and Ticketmaster, the event organizers, because like all of the videos, every day on Twitter last week was just more. I was like, bro, this is pissing me off.
Like that's all I saw. Like I opened up Twitter and I was like, oh shit. And then I looked around for like I guess more information or whatever, and I was just like, I don't know. This shit is just tragic either way.
Yeah.
I have no real input.
Like it's not funny, but his apology video, the memes coming from that's tough, but they're funny. I won't lie.
I feel like if I had to apologize, I'd probably end up doing it that way.
With the black and white filter.
Yes. I'm sorry, guys.
Tragic.
Guys, I'm sorry. I didn't know she was 97.
Like seeing like what caught me off guard is I didn't see the memes until like a couple days later because I didn't know he came out with an apology video. It was a TikTok of someone like rushing to the bathroom, and it was in a black and white filter. So I didn't know what was going on. I'm like, what is going on? So he sits on the toilet, and you just hear him moaning, like groaning.
Yeah.
And then it cuts to the front camera, and it's Travis Scott just rubbing his face.
Bro, they're everywhere. They're literally everywhere. Like, they keep reposting them on Instagram and shit, and I see them on TikTok, and I'm like, bro, oh my god. I think the first one I saw was like, maybe it was the bathroom one, but it was probably something else. It was, it caught me off guard, but I was laughing my ass off so hard.
Oh, there was another one where it's like, you know when you're a kid and you're at like the cashier line and your mom...
Oh, that's the one that I saw at first.
Like, when the cashier's on the last 4 items and your mom's not back. Like... Nah, but like... I just don't... Like, first of all, that was like a 2-day event? Astroworld or whatever?
I don't even know.
Well, whatever it was, I don't even know how the event organizers themselves thought, like, oh, hey, during a global pandemic, let's do a 2-day event in Texas and
I mean, bro, it's Texas, man. These companies are trying to make money. You want to make
Yeah.
money, just go to Texas. They do not care.
I was
Texas and
just like,
Florida.
what the fuck? Because like when I went to the NF concert, and that's so far been my first concert, it was so like getting in was so clear. Like it made sense. It was like you're not getting in unless you're vaccinated or you tested negative. And I know people forged some like negative results, but like still they were like we're only selling 4,000 tickets to this show, and it was at like a small venue. And even like bigger artists are doing like smaller venues.
I mean, it logically makes the most sense too. I mean, whenever you have a fucking virus that's murked 700,000 people, I mean, yeah, I don't know that whole like anti-mask and that like because sometimes I won't go into a place with my mask on, but like I literally just got my second vaccination yesterday, so I've been feeling sore as fuck, bro. Like all the muscles in my body are just like nah, bro.
Yeah, when I got my when I got the second shot, I felt like I was hit by a truck.
That's what I'm saying.
I was like, oh my god.
Bro, I went to I think that's why I felt like so like shit whenever I woke up, because I like my body was already in like a bad state, but then like I woke up and I was like, my body just feels like it was incinerated. I felt like I'd been drinking and I was having a fucking hangover. That's how bad it felt. I was like, what in the fuck? But no, like I'm not
with the masking stuff. It's like I'll go into a building like if I have to wear it by like if it is required, then I will.
Yeah.
But like, if I don't have to, I won't because I'm vaccinated. Now, if it was when I wasn't, then yeah, I'd go in with a mask.
Yeah, like me personally, the only reason I really got more because at a point in time it was like I didn't care about the mask stuff. I would just go do whatever because I was going to low populated areas anyways.
Yeah,
and I'm not normally close to people anyways. And then I was like, oh shit, I'm starting to make more money now, and I don't want to get sick and thinking more about it. Oh yeah, I don't want to get anybody else sick. So that happened, but I haven't been to any events yet. I've been thinking about it, cause there was an artist, Dro Kenji, cause I remember showing you some of his stuff. He has one, and it's like on the 26th or whatever, in fucking Charlotte. And I was looking at it and I was like, I don't even know if I want to go to this. I don't even know if it's worth it.
With how cold it is.
Bro, it's cold as shit outside, bro. Like, I don't know what's happening. Bro, the city, we were walking around for like an hour downtown. Bro, I had like my right hand out. I get, like, bro, my hand was like ice cold for like 4 hours afterwards. Like, even when I went back to the fucking house, I was like, bro, how the fuck are my hands still this cold?
Bro, at work, I feel like I'm gonna kill my fucking hands. Because, like, you can see my knuckles. They look fucking dry as hell. Dude, putting your hand in that soapy water, hot soapy water, and then, like, after work, even for, like, 2 minutes outside, for me getting to my car, my hands are just I look like Emperor Palpatine from Star Wars. I'm like, bro. I got, like, rhino skin.
Okay, so some of these questions that I wrote down are kind of, like, strange, and they might not even be relevant to now, but I think, okay, so this is an idea, is that we should have a roast one day. I literally just want to, like, set up a roast. I feel like that'd be something entertaining to watch. And no, usually I'm always the person to get roasted, so honestly I feel like I'd be fine with the person getting roasted. And then yeah, that, I don't know, I'd watched a couple and I was like, man, this is entertaining, I want to do this. And also I'd like to say fucking thanks for, like, the views on the podcast and shit. I'm surprised there's so much interaction, especially, like, I've had, like, a lot of direct interaction with people where they message me compared to, like, anybody commenting. But no, like, it's good feedback to have. I'm surprised that, like, people actually, like, would grasp onto.
Yeah, okay. So to explain myself a little bit, the last episode I had someone in this Discord that I'm in. He's like, bro, why did the podcast just start out with, are you left or right side? I was like, what do you mean? He's like, I don't know. And it's like, oh, well, what's the problem with that? He's like, I don't know. It's just kind of weird to start off with that. I'm like, well, what? Explain. He's like, I don't know. To start off with the political stuff, like
No, I get that. Some people don't like politics. I guess especially with the way that Alec was joking about it.
mm,
But like, I don't. I actually have like somebody who actually likes whenever I talk about
mm,
politics and shit like that. Because you know what I'm saying, like most of the time I share like same ideals
yeah,
with certain people, even if they're not the same alignment with
mm-hmm.
me. But now, like the whole political thing will just be a side podcast. Um,
See, I don't mind talking, but like I don't go out of my way to like look into stuff that's happening.
yeah,
I'm kind of like the Facebook person, where like I figure out what's happening like a week after it happens. But I also got recommendations for like political podcasts to watch.
yeah, no. I think it's interesting to look from both sides,
Mm-hmm.
and like I've watched Joe Rogan and I'll watch Hassan
Mm-hmm.
with Ethan, and it's like they're both on two different sides. But the
Mm-hmm.
problem that I'm seeing is that like I love Joe Rogan's podcast,
Mm-hmm.
but bro would not stop talking about him getting ivermectin for like 10 episodes straight. Literally, I would go to work and turn on the podcast,
Mm-hmm.
and that's all he would talk about. I'm like, bro, you could have just said this for like 2-3 episodes, but no, he just kept rolling with it. I was like, whatever. So I guess I can see how some people don't like the political side to it like that.
And it seems like with a lot of political stuff, you run into like the same, like you bring up the same points a lot of the time
I mean, yeah, it's just repetition until like,
until something big happens.
yeah, it's really just repetition until you build up enough, I guess, fa- favority, or I don't even know what you would say. Like until you build enough favoritism from other people
Mm-hmm.
to where you can just roll the ball on that.
Yeah.
But like we're like fucking young, so I mean, to some people our take could be like ass.
Yeah.
But like no, cause like my problem is that like I'll fucking post something, and like I'll have a 14-year-old talk to me about it, and I'm like, bro, you have
Yeah.
like the least bit idea as to what
Mm-hmm.
the fuck is actually
That's how
going
I
on.
felt about when the person was all like, "Why did it start off with that question?" I'm like, I mean, it's just a question. Like, just answer it. Like, he's like, "Well, the other guy immediately said left side." I'm like, okay. I'm like, do you not understand? Like, like if someone is on the other side of stuff politically, you can still be friends with them. It like, or at least talk to them. It's like, well, nah. If you're right side, you gotta hate the left side. I'm like, what?
Yeah, I think a lot of no, that's a lot of mentalities,
Yeah.
especially here in the fucking South.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a lot of mentalities. Um,
It's like with me, like, yeah, I'm right. This is turning into a political podcast. Yeah, it's whatever. I don't care. I don't care. Like, yeah, I'm right side, but like, I will say there's some stuff on the right side that I don't agree with, and that I'm just like, okay, but what if we did it this way? And then the left side isn't doing it that way, and then I'm like, okay, well, fuck, you're both dumb.
yeah, I mean, I don't think most people in America don't even line up straight
Mm.
up and down with one side. Like me personally, I don't even know what the fuck to call myself. I don't even know how to label what I believe in.
And it's hard because I feel like people, like, you'll have someone on the left side who does it completely different than someone else, and say like someone on the left side is doing uh, more of whatever it is, or they're promising whatever they're promising, more of as if it was on the right side, and then the right side people are all like, "Hey, this dude on the left isn't too bad," and so they go with him. So it's kind of like, especially at a young age, I feel like you flip flop between the two a lot.
I feel like, especially whenever I was like a sophomore, like I was like 16 and I was like, yeah, I feel like I'm conservative.
Mm-hmm.
But then I was like, the more and more, like it got worse with Trump being in office, and just like there's so much tension, like everything,
Mm-hmm.
like hella racial tension, just hella tension
Yeah.
in general. And I was just like, bro, I can't, like, I got so irritated because I saw so often where it was like these extreme conservatives just
Mm-hmm.
being like just completely racist,
Mm-hmm.
using stereotypes, and I'm
Yeah,
just like, ugh.
like racism isn't cool, you know. Like it's not cool.
Racism bad.
But it's like, no matter what, I feel like both sides are gonna have like a bit of racism. Because with Joe, you remember how like when he was doing his like his speeches and whatnot, he would say off the wall shit. He would like, and like some of it was plain out racist. I remember when he made the claim, he's like, "If you don't vote for me, you're not black." I was like, "Whoa!" I was like, "What?" And I just see all of these people like ignoring the fact that he just said that. I'm like, bro.
I think it's just because most people are like, "All right, man, we got to get this motherfucker out of office." Like we'll just put up with whatever, because even just minor progress is better than like no progress.
Well, see, okay. Hot take.
Hot take.
I didn't mind Trump, but like he needed to get the fuck off of Twitter. Like, well, it was like a day before the election or whatever when the stuff at the Hill happened.
Yeah.
And it was like Trump was fucking tweeting out, and I'm like, bro, I'm like, if you even want to have a chance to get back into the office the next 4 years, you need to stop fucking tweeting right now. And he's like, nah, we're gonna riot. I was like, bro, what? Granted, they were heavy Trump supporters, and so they just did not give a fuck. And I feel like that.
Yeah.
If he like, okay, in my mind, I was like, if I was in Trump's position, I would be like, let Joe run his 4 years, and depending on what he does, and considering most people were all like, this dude's a fucking wacko. Like, let him run his 4 years, and if he fucks things up, then you run again. You don't go on Twitter and fucking tweet out, like, have a baby rage about it, and have people in an uproar.
Yeah, I don't know, like the undying will to support a figure. Because my thing is that, like, I was like, a lot of people who are, like, hating on anti-fascism are the same ones that are damn near representing fascism just for him to still be president. And I was just like, I don't know. You gotta kind of just let it fucking wash over and just move on with shit. Yeah, I don't know. It's just, I think politics, especially now, are just, it's always just gonna be so ass.
Yeah.
I don't think there's gonna be a lot of common ground for things. But, I mean, it's gotten better though, I guess.
Yeah, I'd say it's gotten better.
There's not nearly as much controversy.
Mm-mm.
But people are still talking a lot of shit.
Except for like last year in the rioting.
Yeah, I don't know, cause I don't know if I want to get that deep into it. I don't want to express my ideas too much, especially if there are people who would rather just watch the podcast for just regular shit. But yeah, my next question is, how much personally how much would I have to pay you to be like my personal foot model? Because we have like the Stitch feet.
Yeah.
And so like.
Oh, you like my feet?
I didn't say that. I was asking like.
How much you would have to pay me?
Yeah.
Well, what are you looking for?
Like? I'm like a middleman. You know what I mean? I connect. I connect.
You get connections to other people.
Who want to see your feet?
Who want to see my feet?
Yes. I'm a feet pimp.
Okay. Depends on what they want. Like, if they want my feet in, like, peanut butter, like, that type of gross shit.
A little honey?
Yeah, that'd have to be, like, at least $30.
Bro said 30. I thought you were going to say way more.
Nah, I'll keep it, like, if you keep the prices low, that means you get to sell more of it.
Tyler's a bargaining man. What the fuck?
Yeah, just message DM Landen about feet pics. He'll get back to you on that one.
Would you turn vegan? Like,
no.
No?
No.
No, like, I'm just saying, like, if somebody was like, listen, you have to turn vegan or you're gonna die. would you do it?
Well, if I'm gonna die, I mean, yeah, I guess I wouldn't have a choice.
Stop eating plants, motherfucker.
No, but like, I don't know. I would not go vegan just because like I like having meat in my meals.
Tyler likes meat. He likes having meat in him.
Bro.
Oh yeah, and I just want to say, like, everybody who's like out of high school now, like all the people, like, from over here are either like they're pregnant or they're married.
Oh yeah.
I was just like, bruh, are we fucking losers or are we just like playing it safe? I have no clue.
I don't know. I think we're playing it safe. Gonna be honest. I think we're doing what everyone should have done.
Honestly.
Because I remember someone that we went to elementary school with, like, it was like a couple months before we graduated. She had a kid. I was like, bro, what? I'm like, you couldn't wait until, like, you got out of high school?
I don't know, because usually that's a stereotype applied to, like, usually people where I'm from. But over here, it's way more common.
Oh, yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's also just because of generational wealth as well.
Oh, yeah.
So,
yeah.
it's kind of just like, I don't know. I was in the Target parking lot the other day, and I was looking at, like, these girls driving, like, a jacked up Jeep. I was like, I cannot fucking stand these people.
Yeah, I hate people in Jeeps. Like, on my way here, I was, like, going into Denver, or, like, coming out,
Yeah.
past the fucking Food Lion, Burger King, and stuff. The whole way until I got onto 16, this motherfucker behind me in a Jeep, just on my ass for no reason. I'm like, bro, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm literally giving the dude in front of me space, and you're on my ass.
I mean, like, sometimes you just gotta throw hands with these people.
I'm just gonna start brake checking him. Hop out of the car. Yeah, I can make this go away for like 500.
No, like, I don't know if I would even want to, like, try and attempt to, like, fight some of these country boys out here, because I feel like some of them are very pussy. Because I've seen, like, I don't know what it is, but, like, I'm fine with, like, the Second Right Amendment.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like to a certain extent.
Yeah.
Because open carry, in my opinion, makes me think you are the biggest pussy ever.
Oh yeah.
I don't like open carry. I feel like you're just a bitch.
And I think that also has to do with like where you grew up and stuff.
Yeah. Because it's just like, even though I've moved back here and I'm like, it's a more common thing, I'm just like, I can't stand it. Because the only thing that it does is it really just indirectly brandishes your fucking weapon you own and just lets anybody know that you're willing to
kill someone.
Yes. Put their ass in the grave.
Yeah. I mean, I don't mind it just as long as like.
No, like, and like, you'll walk into Walmart and like see these people with it. I'm like, bro, why the fuck are you in Walmart with this?
Personally, I've never seen it.
Like, bro, I've opened fucking just stores just walking in.
I've never seen it. I mean, I think it's common sense, like, like, yeah, the Second Amendment and stuff, but like, to a certain extent, you shouldn't be like, I think it's common sense, or like, you should have that realization where it's like, I shouldn't bring my weapon into a store. Even though I can,
That's why I feel like I support concealed carry more. I mean, obviously you don't want to antagonize somebody and then just blick them because, like, because I feel like that's a problem though. Like, that is something that happens very often, and people get away with self-defense. I don't really want to get too deep into the Kyle Rittenhouse thing because that is something that I'm probably going to talk with Alec about on the next podcast. But it's kind of just like, whenever you antagonize somebody or just like piss them off, bro, you're just, I don't know. It's something that is like, you're literally just setting up like a free kill. And I'm just like, I don't know.
It's like, I don't want to get into it, but I don't know much about the situation. I just
he got acquitted of all charges.
Yeah, I saw that. Which I'm gonna leave my opinions on that alone. But like, wasn't one of them like throwing a fucking bag at him or like chasing him down? Like, first of all, that's on you for chasing the guy with a gun.
True.
Like, that is, like, you are telling him, hey, I am a threat. I'm being a threat to you right now.
No, like I understand like the first guy, but the problem is that like he didn't even try and like maim him. He just like directly killed him. Like he shot the guy in the head. Like it was like there's a video. It's foul, bro.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack with it, but like I don't know. Like that's why I feel like I have a problem with like the way that Second Amendment rights are working, especially with how the NRA is now. Because originally the NRA was about safety, like gun safety. They don't even reflect the same views anymore.
And I'm sure, like, the way they judged that was, a lot of it had to do with, like, he was at a protest and he was working with the people that were trying to, dial the people back on rioting and stuff. So I'm sure he got charged, or he probably did get charged as if he was a cop.
I don't know. There's a lot of bias in the case, if you ask me. It kind of failed at the state level, but nah. See, that's why I talk about like just Second Amendment, because I support Second Amendment, but
Yeah.
I don't think that it should be so easy for somebody who's a teenager to acquire a rifle, because rifles are easier to shoot.
Yeah.
And like for handguns, you need more permits, and you actually have to like. And that's my thing though. Is a handgun is harder to shoot, and it has less capability compared to a rifle. So, and it's not like I don't know what I'm talking about. We fucking, you know what I mean? Like, we have guns, you know what I'm saying? Like, shoot them all the time. But it's like, we're not fucking carrying these things out in the open. Like,
Yeah, I have neighbors with guns, and they, I'm sure one of them, like, they have a carry permit with them, but I'm pretty sure they leave them in their car or, like,
no, like, see, that's what I'm
whatever.
saying. I'm fine with, like, yeah, protect your property,
Yeah.
protect your life. But, like, bro, holy shit, don't, like, oh my God, it's just, there's two, like, it's not even, like, specific, though, with the way that I'm thinking about it. It's just broad as fuck. Just don't try and be a bad person. Don't try and antagonize shit. Don't, you know what I mean?
Like, wasn't Kyle, like, going there to, like, protect the city or whatever? Like, that's the reason that he gave. He was like, I'm out here helping out the law enforcement and stuff.
Yes.
I feel like, yeah, I get it. That's, like, your choice. But, like, why didn't law enforcement say, hey, you need to go the fuck home?
Another issue is that they dismissed his underage firearm charge. Yeah, so that shit didn't even matter to the judge. The judge was just like, fuck it, I do not care.
Like, I'm learning all about this fucking
yeah.
situation. I went on Facebook, and every time I would see, like, I'm in, like, the local area group talk things to find out what's happening. Every fucking time it was like, yo, new updates. I'm like, bro, just go on the news. I don't want to see this shit on my social media.
Yeah, like, I don't get on Facebook that often. It's just like, because you know what I'm saying, most of the people like that post now are just like older people that I know, and I'm just like, oh, whatever, bro. Just whatever.
Like, I get it, you want to, like, post political stuff, and, like, I'm fine with that, but, like, I don't know. I feel like it gets people more outraged because you're reaching a whole lot of people with that stuff.
I don't know. I think America as is right now kind of just pisses me off because it's so illogical, but it's really just because nobody of our generation has come of power yet to be in a political position.
Yeah.
So we don't really have a way to be like, oh, we want neutral ground with this or that. Because I know some people are very extreme with like firearms, talking about take away firearm rights and this and that. But you got to understand that whenever, this goes especially for like how people support like the NRA and like firearms now, but it applies to both sides. It's like whenever that amendment was made, you have to think at what point in time we were in America, because we were still the 13 colonies. You still had farmers and shit, motherfucking just people who were defending against the British and the Revolution and shit. And so they had fucking muskets, bro.
Mm-hmm.
They did not have the fucking advanced weaponry we have now. So I feel like it's really, really like, I mean, like, obviously if somebody shot you with a fucking musket, you'd probably die. I'm gonna keep it real. Because they, like, even though it's like considered like poor technology now, all it took was really one shot because the fucking balls are so big. Like,
no, the balls are big.
Fuck. But like, yeah, like, and then like reload time is also longer.
Yeah, I think hopefully what I would want to see, like, we may not see it, but when we're older, and once these, old heads are out of, like Senate and stuff and everything, just try and at least have the best of both the right and left side, because like having two options where the sides are completely different, to me that is stupid. I think that if you spent a long enough time on it, you could work out a way to have these problems fixed, or at least,
and the problem with like the middle ground parties is that they don't receive nearly enough funding to compete with just the two sides. And I think that's the problem, though, is that naturally, instinctually, because Joe Rogan said this, and I agree with what he said, just like instinctually, when we pick a side, automatically, if somebody disagrees with us, our natural instinct is like, this person has a problem with me.
Yeah.
But like,
I don't think that's it at all.
But it's hard to find a middle party that really hits all the points, for how people want things to be.
Like, once we're older, hopefully, old heads are out of all of these things, and it's like people that are kind of near our generation, or like understand our generation, and try and amend, like all these problems and stuff, and make it into like one whole, like, hopefully, and this is fucking probably far out, have it to where it's no longer a right and left side. It's just one fucking group.
Like, most people who are like conservative tend to be more, like, they tend to be older. And I don't even know if I'm gonna be like that when I'm older, because I'm just like, I do not care about, how can I explain it? I do not care about for things to stay the same, because whenever you let things stay the same, you have no way of evolving. And that applies to everything, honestly, because I think it's best to always look for ways to change and grow. But I don't believe in extreme change that is broadcasted all the time, because I feel like, especially with like a lot of the millennial politicians that we have right now, they're closer to our age group, but they're obviously there's still a generation gap, and a lot of what is done for media presence. And like, I like AOC, like, as a personality. I haven't like fully looked into like all of her policies and shit. I've saw a few things, and I'm like, I agree with her on that. But like, obviously she's kind of like a golden child for like the Democrats, whenever it comes to like her appearance and input on things.
Well, I'm not gonna let you run out all your political stuff. Have you found a name for the like spinoff?
Oh, the spinoff?
Yeah, spinoff.
Politely Political. That's just the name of it. Clean. On the side. The reason I say Politely Political is because it's not like we're gonna be aggressively throwing our points out, because I feel like that is an issue with like political podcasts. They're like, no, fuck the other side. This isn't that, and blah 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 blah.
At least like make an effort to try and like understand,
And like, I like this podcast because it shows our growth as people over time, whether we change this way or that way. Because if you watch the first podcast, how I was then compared to how I am now, there's a gap. There's a very big gap in certain ways, because I'm not nearly as, I guess, presumptuous with my ideas about like dating, about this, about that. And I think that's a good thing, though. Like, I feel like as the podcast go on, we continue to change and try and do better as people. And I think that is a magnet point of the podcast itself.
And I think it has to do with, like, we're just chill people all around. Like, we're not, going out of our way to do, like, off the wall, crazy stuff. It's just kind of like, just sit here and talk.
Yeah, and I mean, we're like the back of the classroom, just like quiet, chill people. Like, and this is like genuinely what we think. And and I don't believe everything we believe in is directly out of prejudice or anything like that. Like, especially with like how culture is in the South, I would say we are much, much different.
Yeah.
Than how people are here. Cause like me personally, especially after I moved to Charlotte, cause I was like more conservative in Charlotte, and so I always came across like issues, I guess, with understanding like why certain people would say certain things, especially about race, and so I would get like mad whenever I was like 16.
Yeah.
Cause they'd be like, oh yeah, white people this, blah 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 blah. And I always was constantly reminding myself, like, like I'm half white, but like I'm also black as well. And it's hard to create a defense for both sides whenever both sides, well, it's clear which side is obviously a little, more horrible to the other, but it's just like no side is perfect, no matter what. Like, and I guarantee in the future we might end up contradicting ourselves whenever it comes to how we may have thought, or maybe we, what I'm saying, maybe we regress to the more southern, more like, oh, I don't like you if you're like this type of mentality. Because especially like with us being here, people are very homophobic, like extremely homophobic. And so like, I don't know if you came across this, but like getting both ears pierced, me personally, I like symmetry, but like for like people here, it's always like you can only get the left ear pierced or you're gay.
Wait, here?
Yeah.
No, I didn't know.
No, I like.
Because I just did shit with not caring about what people think.
Yeah, like growing up, that's all I heard. Because I wanted to get my ears pierced, but then I was like, oh fuck.
Yeah, but I didn't get my ears pierced until I was with at the time, the longest relationship. I think it was like, she wanted to get her ears pierced because a wedding was coming up that we were both going to, and so I was like, I've thought about it. I'm like, or I didn't really think about it too much. I was like, fuck it, let's do it. So.
Yeah, it.
And then, I was in school, and I'm sure I can say your name because it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
But Mariah was in my class, and to me, like, especially in my junior year, I did not give a shit about what other people thought. And Mariah had like these big ass hoop earrings. I was like, let me put them in. She's like, you're not gonna put them in. I put them in, the whole class, and I had one of the country bums be like, bro, you're fucking gay. I'm like, I don't care. I'm like, he's like, you're doing fruity shit. I'm like, you can do fruity shit and not be gay. Like, like the earrings, the fucking nose piercing, like it doesn't matter as long as like, like I don't understand that whole point where it's like, if you're straight, you can't be getting, like tattoos with color or shit like that. To me, that shit pisses me off, because like you're limiting to people to like what they can do.
I feel like secretly a lot of the country boys are very insecure about themselves and how they have to represent themselves, especially because of their households. Because a lot of the times you will hear these motherfuckers listen to like rap music and shit like that, but they are completely opposed to anything dealing with a black person. And I'm just like, well, I mean, it's a part of my culture and you're consuming it, but you don't like my people.
Yeah, that's definitely.
And then it's just like, also like the whole being like mixed thing. Like a lot of people see that as like being like, I guess, a sin, being like a foul thing. And I feel like a lot of especially with the South, because I'm gonna connect this point in my mind. This makes a lot of sense. You got to understand that people from the South were like British, like they were loyalists. They literally kissed the British ass, and a lot of times like British ideals are still within how we live. And these motherfuckers are country as shit, but they'll be like, fuck them motherfuckers from England and blah 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 blah. But a lot of your ideals are coming from original English ideas. A lot of the like shit from back then. And then the slow adaptation of the education here as well to be even compared to like the North.
We're definitely not going to live in a world anytime soon where racism is not a thing, or like, you know.
No, and because people are going to always use racism as a point of leverage for themselves to be like, haha, I'm winning this argument, or I'm just saying this to make somebody else mad.
It's like saying, like, you know, just saying like laughing at someone and saying, yo, you're poor. You know, like it's the same stuff, kind of. Like you're making fun of them for something that they can't. There you go.
That's out of grasp.
Yeah.
A lot of the times when people like joke about certain shit, it's because they haven't experienced it.
Yeah.
And so it's a lot of like outside input to things like that. But I mean, the progress being made is better. I really don't have people who say shit to me. Like whenever I'm at work, whenever I'm out in public, things like that. If it was fucking 10 years ago, it probably would have been way worse.
Yeah.
Especially like around here.
Like I'll hear people say shit, whether it be N-word or whatever, you know, and I'm just like, like Tim, like it doesn't irk me because like we've grown up here, so it's like it's common for us to hear it, kind of, you know, and especially with the way like my grandpa was, like, you know, I would hear my mom tell stories like where he was racist, but that was at the time that, you know, everything was going on. And so, like, to me, hearing that stuff, it's just, like, I hate that it's something that we're kind of used to hearing.
I mean, yeah, it can be. It's like, I feel like hard R is very demoralizing.
Yeah.
And also, if you're. I'm not going to. Because this is a bigger issue with just people of color in general. Most people who think that they are not white are, you know what I'm saying? They're like, oh, yeah. I'm going to say this word. You see it, and I'm not trying to, like, because I know that there are a couple of people who are going to, like, I guess, try and argue with me on this point, but you see a lot within the Hispanic community where they say the N-word more than we do.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that happens so often. It's like, sometimes it drives me nuts, especially because it's coming from somebody I don't know. Usually, in order for me to adapt myself to somebody saying it, and, like, I'm friends with them, I have to know them for a while for me to just have a tolerance for it. Otherwise, I'm just like, I feel like disgusted. I'm like, especially because for me in middle school, since I was half white, I mostly acted, because I was, at that point in time, I was like completely like whitewashed, Southern, all that shit. So for me, I basically had to earn my way to being able to even say the word, because people just thought I was just white directly. They directly thought I was white. They thought like all this shit. And so for me, like it definitely does irk me in a certain type of way.
We should definitely get Marlon on the podcast since he's also mixed.
I didn't know that he was mixed. He does not give that off.
No, he doesn't, but I'm pretty sure, he said, like, you know, I'm half white, half, or probably not half, but he has some white in him.
Yeah, like, I would say, like, my appearance, like, outwardly, especially to people who are just white in general, they just automatically think I'm just only black.
Yeah.
That's generally the assumption. But people who are, like, black and, like, from other races, they're like, oh, yeah, you're mixed, this and that. But that's just because, you know what I'm saying, it's what you're exposed to. I think that's another big thing, is that I think that people where we live right now are becoming more exposed to different things.
Yeah.
Like, I noticed people were, like, looking at us whenever we had on the Stitch feet and shit. But, like, we were just, like, fucking around having a good time.
Yeah.
And I think that, you know what I'm saying, I feel like life shouldn't have to always be so serious. and we shouldn't have to corner ourselves in to try and fit in with what the norm is based on our fucking location.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like, yeah, I don't know. It's been a pretty good podcast so far.
Yeah.
To say the least.
You ever thought about getting a tattoo? I know you asked Alex this last time, and he didn't ask you, so I want to know.
So my thing is about getting a tattoo, especially with where I'm at in life right now. I'm not against it. At first, I was very business mindset, so I was like, no, I can't get one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have an issue with getting a tattoo. It's just that there's not a lot of things in life that have crazy deep meaning to me that I could depict on myself. And so like I feel like it's gonna take me a while before I'm like, okay, I want a tattoo for this to represent whatever. Because I've went through a lot of shit, but there's no way for me to really express it in ink on myself.
Yeah. Would you consider like what's like a cartoon that you liked as a kid that you loved?
I really, really liked Courage the Cowardly Dog.
Okay, so that brings up a point of view. So I watched it as a kid, but I didn't realize how much I loved that show until like recently. Me and some people in Discord, we've watched a lot of it. I didn't realize how much I loved that show until then. And now I'm considering getting Courage, like, you know, like on my thigh or something. Somewhere not like up here, because I want like tattoos up here to have meaning.
Yeah.
And stuff.
I really liked Regular Show and like Adventure Time and stuff. I also like Flapjack. But I feel like Flapjack and Courage the Cowardly Dog were something that like I grew up watching to the point where it was like, these things are so drastically different from what is normal.
Yeah.
That it's like, it's very, very entertaining. Like Courage, like there's a lot of decrepit shit.
Yeah.
For it to be a kid's show. But it like, I don't know.
But it didn't cross that line of being too far.
Yeah, and also Courage, I feel like, I don't know why, but I feel like the show has a deeper meaning than what is just presented at face value. Because a lot of people are saying like it's about the dog's perspective on how things are. Like how he's like, he feels like he's in the middle of nowhere and like all of that shit. But I just like the episodes that were just like weird as fuck. Like when they had like the 3D guy fucking floating in.
Oh, the head?
I think so. And like Courage would freak the fuck out all the time. I don't know what it is, but I feel like I like that like decrepit shit. The things that are just, they seem extremely strange and scary in some type of way.
Now, would you like, with the tattoo thing, would you get like a tattoo of Courage? Like if it, like, it doesn't have a whole lot of meaning. Is there something that you really liked?
There is a chance, especially because it's like, for me, Courage, like the character itself represents like, you know what I mean, like not being completely afraid of what is like extremely scary at first, and it really does kind of like sit with my personality, because his first initial reaction is always to freak the fuck out, which is so funny to me. But like, no, it's a very relatable thing, you know what I'm saying? You freak the fuck out, and then you eventually just come back to whatever it is, and you're like, okay, I have a solution for this.
Yeah, I don't know if the people on the podcast know, but I have 2 tattoos.
I remember when you got the feather.
Yeah, the feather means a lot to me. Just means like whenever we had like loved ones who would pass, my mom always told me that it was like, if you see a feather in like a place where it shouldn't be, then that's more than likely someone from our family just saying hey. So when my grandma passed, like I knew I wanted to do something, but I wasn't too sure of like what I wanted to do. And so for a year I was thinking of what I wanted to do. Then I found out. Then it was 2 years of actually waiting and just finding out how I would even be able to. And we went to Ohio, and they don't have a age law.
No, like a lot of people do get tattoos very young, like 15, 16 and shit like that.
I will say, out of all my cousins in Ohio, I'm definitely the more like I don't care person, because it seems like every time I go up there, I have something else.
Like I feel like if you play life, because in my mind, sometimes life feels like a video game. Like to some people, they have a lot of pride in their identity
Mm.
being based around what's normal,
Mm-hmm.
or you know what I'm saying, what they can do uniquely compared to the groups that they're in. But like I feel like you should be able to customize yourself to try out different things and not
Yeah.
be afraid of what looks different, or
Mm-hmm.
just things like that. Especially with like fashion and stuff. Me personally, I don't really like the whole like dress thing. Like I couldn't put on a dress and be like, yeah, I'm satisfied with this. But
Mm-hmm.
that's just because that's what I'm comfortable with.
Yeah.
Like I'm so laid back. I usually just wear like bum shit
Mm-hmm.
because like I don't know. That's where I am at like the core of my personality.
Yeah.
Like I'm bummy as fuck. But everything else, I try to make quality.
Mm-hmm.
Like even with this setup, you can see like there's so much effort put into making everything have quality, but its own uniqueness
Yeah.
to stand out.
Yeah, that definitely relates into tattoos, where it's like, you shouldn't try and copy a design. You should have it. You should give the artist, like, hey, do whatever you like, since you're telling this artist, like, hey, I like your work, put your spin on it, and that's kind of what I did with this one. But like, like the roses are not like your typical red roses. They're black with the red inside of them. And I saw a picture and I really liked that design. So I was like, hey, you know, I would love it if the roses looked like that. And then with this one, the guy had drawn out the feather and it looked like a normal feather. But then I really liked the geometrical, like, design. I was like, hey, can you put that? And last minute he outlined it and then just started putting in the lines.
Yeah, like oh yeah, also like that thing you were saying about the feather
Mm-hmm.
with like your family members and shit. I don't know if I want to get too deep into religion. I mean, we talked about it on last podcast with like me and Alec.
Mm-hmm.
Me personally, I'm not. I would say I'm agnostic. Um, and I'm not like a full on like atheist like I used to be, because really whenever I was an atheist, it came from a place of I'm tired of a religion being forced on me, and
Mm-hmm.
it feels like it's bullshit. Me personally, right now, it's like I'm not denying that there's no higher above. It's
Yeah.
just that specifically there is nothing for me to select as a religion, or
Yeah,
you
that's
know.
how I am. Like, I don't get into religion because there's some stuff that, can be explained in different ways. But at the same time, I could see myself believing, you know, and if there was something, a higher being.
I feel like the problem with most religions, at least in my case, there's always something negative attached to it. And this is not even to diss religion, because I know some people use faith as their way of motivation.
Mm-hmm.
It's just more or less there's a reason why the pilgrims fled England.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't because they just wanted to come to America to have a nice place to
Mm-hmm.
fucking live. They were fleeing the fucking Catholic Church,
Mm-hmm.
because the way that they set it up was so fucking like, it was such a hierarchy that it's like, bro, these fucking priests are fucking rich as fuck, and
Mm-hmm.
like they have so much power to even like they can say whatever about you, and
Mm-hmm.
you're automatically just fucked.
Mm-hmm.
Because you could just believe in a different religion and get fucking clapped. And I think that's like how I view religion in some way sometimes when I think about it, because I'm like, I feel like religion is kind of just more or less, it comes from a place of not so great people,
Yeah.
but the ideas are not completely horrible.
Yeah.
It's kind of just like using, oh yeah, this exists, and
Mm-hmm.
you have to come and talk to me about it if you want to be saved, or
Mm-hmm.
that's generally how I think about it. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why I like being like a history nerd, I guess, because life has a very big cycle connected to how things were in the past, and you can connect a lot of how things used to be to now. And that's extremely true with America, and just like in general, just like because the racism first came from like ethnic
Mm-hmm.
like cleansing type of shit, like because in America, like, oh, you're Irish, you're just white or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're like from Europe, they really hammer that shit in.
Mm-hmm.
but over here it's watered down.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel history has a lot connected to how things are now, and a lot of people tend to reject those things and ideals and whatnot. And I'm not gonna say I'm 100% right in everything I say. Obviously, like, you know,
we're still learning.
Yeah, people are gonna be wrong and people are gonna make mistakes. The only reason I quote so much from the past is just because I feel like it can make either my point more relevant, or I can just maybe inform people more on why I believe what I believe in. It doesn't mean that I directly am right. Like, who knows what actually is out there.
Well, if there is a higher being, I'm still going to hell. I'm gonna be honest.
Most people imagine like hell to be like flames and stuff like that. In my mind, if there is a hell, I would see hell just being an abyss.
Yeah.
Like, where you have no creativity, but you're rather just stuck in this loop of being like just suffering, I guess, with there being nothing. But I feel like the way that they depict heaven, because I was thinking, oh my god, I was thinking about this too. The way that a lot of like Christian, or like, because I'm gonna connect this, but like usually most conservatives are Christian, and like they hate communism and shit. But if you look at how heaven is always depicted, it's in a communist or like socialist form where everybody gets to live good and everybody, and I'm just like, I've never heard anybody else talk about it in that type of way. So whenever I was thinking it to myself, I was like, damn, like that actually does make sense in a type of way. But like, yeah, I don't know, like, especially like when talking to like overtly religious people, the way that they try and spread religion, it can be aggressive. And I feel like that is the worst way to try and spread what you believe in, is by being aggressive with it.
Yeah, that goes into like a lot of things, especially like the LGBTQ community and everything. Like, again, I'm fine with them. It's just I don't want you forcing that stuff onto other people, because then it makes yourself look like a dickhead or whatever.
Yeah, the thing that I really like thought about a lot, I was like, there are gay Christians, and that caught me off guard because I didn't really know how to like analyze it, because it's suspect, like, you could say like, oh, they're fucking conservative black people, like if you wanted to compare it in that way. But like, yeah, people aren't just fixed to just one way or whatever, but I feel like we do have a very, very long time to go, at least like progression wise, to social acceptance, because a lot of what people go through is social neglect whenever they're different and shit like that, and it's less directly a fault of the system and more of a fault of the people, and how they continue to bash in how they see truths about people because of things that have happened in the past.
You got another question? Any others?
I don't really have any other direct questions I can ask you for the time being, but now you did come dripped out, and you know what I'm saying, you got the styrofoam cup.
Yeah, my lean.
Sipping on that walkie.
No, walkie slush.
But
finally, did I ever tell you about the hoodie that I pre-ordered?
I think you did, but
well, it should be coming soon. And I've been like, I want to like retake some like profile picture photos with that hoodie, because I love the idea of it, making it my own.
Bro, I haven't had photos taken of me in like months, because usually I have other people do it so I can like have something to post. But it's just like, I guess I've improved my appearance, at least in certain ways. But I'm more like on camera, just doing shit with YouTube, than I am like outside getting pictures taken of me and shit. Especially whenever I hang out with people, we barely even post anything. We just go out and fucking experience and be like, yeah, this is cool, but I feel like I'm gonna have to start vlogging more shit. Especially because people tend to find like a lot of like what I do, or like whatever the fuck it is, like interesting because I've been told to do like more vlogs, do more things that are
Mm-hmm.
like personally connected to me.
Mm-hmm.
That's why like my videos where I play games and shit aren't like always popping off, but the ones where it's more directly connected to me and how I am as a person are
Mm-hmm.
like much more successful.
There's a spot in Charlotte. One of my friends, he was like, "Yo, we should." He's like, "We can come here and we can take like senior pictures of you." It's like these garage doors with uh like art on it. It looks really cool. Uh, so we may have to go there at some point.
Oh yeah, because you didn't want me to show you downtown, which that's a good vlog idea. Because it's they be going crazy, especially on the weekends. I mean, we could probably do it today, to be honest, if you want to.
Mm,
It's gonna be cold as fuck, but
I mean, I work tomorrow, so like
you said what?
I work tomorrow,
Right,
so
old man Tyler.
sure. But that hoodie, I want it like, like I put like a lot of thought into like the rich but not happy stuff, in terms of like outfit and everything. And I think this will finally allow me to think of a new direction where I want to take, at least how I look at stuff artistically, because I like the whole, best way I can describe it is you're telling a story with like music videos and stuff. So I'm thinking that this hoodie will do, or it'll just be a nice change.
What's your favorite music video? Like,
Favorite music video?
yeah, just for plot, not even song.
For plot.
Yeah.
Mm. Hmm. Probably the. It's a 21 Pilots jumpsuit, I think, because like how much thought and effort, because like they're building a story with, like the music videos and stuff, not necessarily in the music itself, which I like that idea. Um, but in that video, they put a lot of effort into telling a story that they've been telling, but it was like also just shot beautifully.
I think that my favorite music video is probably Stan.
Oh,
Yeah, from Eminem. I don't know why, but it's just like I feel like you can't listen to Stan without seeing the music video because
Oh yeah.
yeah, the music video like really hammers it in
Mm-hmm.
more. And it's like it just really shows like I don't know why, but I feel like I really like raw ass life,
Mm-hmm.
especially seeing it in like television
Mm-hmm.
and stuff like that in movies. I'm like I just like seeing like just raw ass life where it's
Mm-hmm.
like there's a struggle, but like you're living a certain way. Um, it's like maybe I don't even know how to explain it. I don't like to struggle, but I like to be around things that remind myself of what it's like to struggle, so I
Mm-hmm.
don't continue to envelop myself in a fucking a big ass wormhole
Yeah.
of living like I've never, you know what I'm saying, struggled at all.
Mm-hmm.
So like Stan for me, like even past like the abuse
Mm-hmm.
thing and stuff like that, because me personally, like whenever it comes to like talking about like domestic abuse between like spouses and stuff, I don't really like connect to that really,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't like in my mind the whole domestic abuse is bad and this and that. Well, I mean, like obviously it is, but like I feel like people hammer it really, really hard.
Mm-hmm.
Um, cause like me personally, I've never like really like put my hands on a girl like that. So that's why I
Yeah.
feel like I have a struggle, at least understanding why people are like hyper tonal whenever it comes
Mm-hmm.
to how it is. Cause I mean, it should just be a given that you just don't
Yeah.
do that. Cause you wouldn't do the same thing
Mm-hmm.
if it was somebody of the opposite fucking gender. Because I usually just treat girls and guys the same overall.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it makes it easier to get to know them as a person. Because a lot of people
Yeah.
tend to simp out for somebody of the opposite fucking gender
Mm-hmm.
and shit.
All the time.
And then yeah, like just showing Stan's struggle, showing his obsession, which is like I feel like it really like does connect to like are you really willing to die for somebody who doesn't really know you exist
Yeah.
like that, and on top of that they, you know what I mean, they hold a position of power in some type of way, or like they are an inspiration to you.
Mm-hmm.
And that can be connected to all people of figure.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, like Travis Scott and shit like that, that's why he has to hold some accountability.
Mm-hmm.
um
Then
because
yeah.
like to him, you gotta imagine, like, you know what I'm saying, people that come to the fucking concert, he doesn't know everybody's names.
Yeah.
These are random people, but these are people who enjoy
What he's
he
doing.
has to provide. Yeah. And so like some people are very extreme with how they are like, oh my god, you saved my life, you changed
Mm-hmm.
me, and stuff like that.
Yeah. With the whole like treating women like guys thing with you, like that's how I am. I don't simp because it just makes you look fucking, to me, dumb. Like you're going out of your way to like queen, like
Mommy.
no, mommy. Like no, like that's not like. I feel like you lose a lot of yourself when you do that.
Also, I feel like it's really good to be friends with somebody who is of the opposite gender first before you
Yeah.
try and directly get in a relationship with them, because as soon as you become friends with somebody, the kind of like that blurred
Mm-hmm.
the blurred lines that you don't see at 1st
Mm-hmm.
tend to stand out more, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh, I really don't get along with this person
Yeah.
like that at all. Because like I can imagine myself being friends with, like, because I couldn't imagine dating some of
Mm-hmm.
the girls I'm friends with, just because I know how they are.
Mm-hmm.
And like just me being different in how I am.
And the way I joke around with friends is I'll call them like bitch and stuff, like that's just me. And it's like if there's like a female that I know I can't really call a bitch in a friendly way, I guess, if you want to call it that.
Yeah, because
Then I
I get what you mean, because I'll do it, but I won't do it to directly be like,
Mhm.
oh, you're of the opposite gender or this and that. I usually use it in jokes.
Yeah, I was in a crab game video. I had one line the entire thing, just me saying crab game. Well, I'm not gonna disrespect the creator, but he was calling my friend's girlfriend a bitch, and it's like, to me, like, if it's
If you're using it in a derogatory way, it makes you seem like a really, really bad person.
yeah, and it's like I don't,
Because you probably are, but
because like I wouldn't call like I may have, but I may have not. I don't know. I don't really keep track with it, but I'm pretty sure she knows that I just call people bitch and stuff. Not as in like a bad way, but it's like just kind of like a joking way, and like I wouldn't say it to her because it's like I don't know if you're like I don't know how well that would go.
yeah,
So I just kind of I leave it out.
it depends on how comfortable you are with that person and their preferences and shit.
I mean, I would say
I only do it whenever I get like closer with somebody, and like you were saying about the simp thing, I tend to only show. Well, I don't even know if it's like you would consider it simp tendencies, because the thing is that if you are with that person or whatever, you're not really like, I don't think that's really being a simp.
yeah,
It's kind of just more or less that person is like gotten to a deeper side of you. But if you are using this deeper side on somebody you barely know,
yeah,
then you are just being a simp directly.
Yeah. But that creator, like it irked me a little bit. I'm like, bro, you like, I'm pretty sure I know her more than you do, and you're just calling her a bitch. I'm like, to me, that I get it. That's your comedy, but like, to a certain extent, you should know when and when not to like say stuff like that. I don't. It was weird because like nobody really talks to him,
Yeah.
and like I haven't really seen that side of him before. And of course, like he was like we were using the in-game chat, so it's like this commentary that he was adding, nobody knew. So it's like, to me, he kind of put like a different side of himself out. on the internet.
I mean, if you're willing to publicly use the word in a derogatory way,
Well, I
against
don't even think
somebody.
it was like that. I think it was just
Well,
like a joking way. But like to me, it's like
yeah, the issue is that you don't really know the person, so
yeah, it's like I'm pretty sure I know my best friend's girlfriend more than you do, and you're just doing that without them knowing that you're
yeah. And
you know.
this is another thing about like social media, in general, because of course I want to be somebody who has representation on the internet, but you
Mm-hmm.
have to, like you have to imagine that also with me being on the internet, you don't have to represent a completely perfect image, because usually
Yeah.
there are a lot of people who are successful who don't have a perfect image
Mm-hmm.
because, you know what I mean, like they are willing to stand out and just do things that are a little more extreme or
Yeah.
like edgy with what they say. XQC is an example of that, but
Mm-hmm.
he's not, you know what I mean, like hearted, like he's not like cold hearted
Yeah.
in a way. Um, and so like I feel like especially if he post a video with himself doing that,
Mm-hmm.
he's ruining his own image by
Mm-hmm.
doing that. And also you have to imagine that it does connect back, because a lot of what is put out from me at least has some genuine idea or connection that came from my head based
Yeah.
on my beliefs, so I have to take responsibility for it.
Mm-hmm.
So you know what I mean, like
Yeah.
if I did something like that, I would clearly state that I'm not trying to
Mm-hmm.
be rude in a type of way. But
Yeah.
if that's not clear from the beginning, then you automatically set yourself up to either be canceled or just not be able to reach any type of success
Mm-hmm.
long term. Um, but I think that people like tend to grow and stuff like that, and those who don't try to grow are being ignorant to
Yeah.
how they can improve their life. Especially like with how I make videos and stuff like that. Like this comes out of my time, you know what I mean? Like I could be
Mm-hmm.
doing so many different things
Yeah.
besides doing this stuff, but for me, I feel like it's a very good constructive hobby to have on the side, and it helps me gain experience in something I've liked,
Mm-hmm.
for years to come. And like it gives me the ability to have that voice that I've always wanted to share out,
Mm-hmm.
but I've always struggled to, especially with how people are on the internet.
Yeah, that's kind of how my music is. It's just a way for me to express myself, and same with like the outfit and everything from Rich But Not Happy. And of course, I've talked to you about doing a video that's kind of like an epilogue to that stuff. And well, I don't think that's gonna happen because the area that I thought about recording it in is kind of like overgrown now. So I'm glad that I'm getting this hoodie because I think it'll spark a new idea of how that could be wrapped up.
Yeah, and I don't really like to sit on ideas and not execute,
Yeah.
but like, you know, I do end up in phases where it's like I don't really feel like doing this or
Yeah, that's how I was
stuff
with
like
the
that.
idea because it was like it was very different. I would say like it was, you know, it's like I'm not even too sure if people would understand without me explaining. But it's like, do I really want to explain it? Because to me, it's obvious, you know.
Yeah.
So I was just like, eh. And then I was thinking of like other stuff or like just trying to get together like a new look. And that's why I want to take like these new profile pictures is for like a new look. Because I feel like Rich But Not Happy, that outfit is like, and like my profile picture now is like, it connects more with that. And since I'm wanting to try out new stuff, I want to kind of like rebrand in a way.
Yeah, I feel like everybody should be willing to invest in whatever hobby they like. And they don't have to completely shut it out just because you don't have, you know what I'm saying, you don't have to be rich to do certain things.
Yeah.
And you can always, like, you know what I mean, you can always settle for like lower quality whenever it comes to whatever it is you're using for said hobby. But make sure that if that quality is lower in one aspect, you make it higher in the other.
Yeah.
And yeah, like I don't know, like I feel like as the podcast goes on, I've become more confident and also more like I guess expressive of how I feel, and I'm open to being told that I'm wrong for either feeling this or thinking that, and I'm willing to change and grow as a person.
Yeah.
And I think that everybody should be, willing to do that. But you know what I'm saying, like, not everybody has to have a podcast, has to do this, has to do that. Because I know a lot of people, they haven't figured out any type of hobby for themselves, and they always are just like, oh yeah, I'm bored or this and that. But I think that there's always something within everybody to create, because as humans, we automatically want to create something. We want to have our own type of input into something.
Yeah.
And I feel like my input on the internet, the reason I like the podcast so much and making videos is because it extends just having a conversation on Discord with somebody who may not fully understand my story. But this really illustrates it in a better way, and if the person is willing to listen,
I've
able to make something good off of that.
also been just recently I've thought about doing like a mini documentary into like leading up to the next music release that I do, because I think with how different this one will be, since it's going to be a lot more personal, I think it'll be cool to have that build up and showing like the working through it, like, and I think that's why like I would also want to like vlog or document like the new, like the taking of the new profile pictures, think like the thought process of a new outfit or a new style for me, like me wearing, like I just think it'll be cool. It'll explain a bit more.
Yeah, and I feel like we're in a state of, especially compared to months ago, we are really in a state where we're trying to be like extremely open-minded to how to approach things in life. And I hope that we continue to grow. Hope the podcast continues to grow. I mean,
yeah, sure.
Obviously, especially if this becomes something that is, because we do this almost every weekend.
Yeah, we took a week off.
Yeah.
But it worked out.
But there's usually like because there's not always gonna be permanence just based on everybody's schedule, but it's just good to be able to come onto the podcast, express some thoughts, and to openly share it with other people, instead of just keeping it within our group, because I think it does help other people analyze things in a different way or understand us as people. And then eventually, like, my thing is for like the podcast is like, I really, really do want it to grow and be something bigger than what it is right now, because I want to get everybody who comes onto the podcast into a good position to where they are able to comfortably come on, talk about things, and they don't have to stress about their schedule whenever it comes to doing it. Because eventually I want to get to the point to where if I bring somebody on, I'm willing to pay them a percentage for their time. Because I just want everybody who I share an image with to be successful.
I'm kind of glad we took that last week off. Personally, I had some shit going on, so.
Yeah.
And I just wasn't able to travel because I was watching the fucking dogs, which isn't a problem by all means, but,
Yeah, I do believe that taking breaks sometimes is a good thing.
Yeah.
For me, the podcast tends to be therapeutic sometimes, because it's just like I'm getting to talk about something I normally wouldn't get to, because most people are not willing to listen if it's just one-on-one. But if it's in a different format, to where it's like we're here in person, we're talking about this in person, it's like it's literally shown completely different than if we were just sitting behind a microphone talking to somebody. Because I feel like a lot of people don't understand how certain people think, or how sometimes people are serious and they're not able to really grasp onto it because they don't have a personal connection, or it's just like,
and they can't like physically see them.
But I think that this is a good way to do it.
And
I'm gonna have more guests come over tomorrow. You won't be here, but you'll see the podcast though. And so, yeah, of course I want to make more content and stuff like that. Maybe a group channel. The only issue with that is just schedule things again.
Yeah.
But no, this is a pretty good podcast, and I think we went over a lot of things that were important to us for the time being for right now. And
I'll definitely look into more political stuff so I can add on to that stuff.
yeah, because I wanted to really be like an open,
Yeah,
like fucking hemisphere of just ideas and shit. That's why I'm willing to go and find somebody who thinks the extreme of something this way or that way.
Yeah.
Just so that way it can be put out, and it's like, this is an open discussion. We're not attacking somebody, but
I kind of felt like
trying to understand each other.
I felt like shit saying like we should limit the political stuff because I was like, I know that's like a big part of, you know, like not like a big part, but that's something you're interested in.
I mean, yeah. I mean, because it is a part of our lives, and I feel like we should be able to have full expression with this, and we shouldn't have to completely censor ourselves. Yeah. But if there's a better way to express these ideas, then we might as well just create a separate segment off of it. Yeah,
or even like fry it out, you know.
Yeah.
See how it goes.
And just like corner ideas that we can capitalize on. Because I do think that, especially considering that we're considered the quiet people from school and shit like that. Like, of course I wasn't whenever I was fucking young, but as I got older, I realized that, like, you know, certain people do have really good ideas. It's just that they're not really said out loud, or
they're not outspoken.
Yeah.
You didn't catch the
Okay. This fucking guy. But nah, I guess this is the end of the podcast. I'm Landen. This is
Tyler.
Yeah, co-host Tyler. And this was Outspoken Introverts podcast, and we'll catch you in the next one.
Yes, sir.
Walking slow.
Chilling.